Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for joining me here today. I am very excited to film this video for you today. We're going to be talking about top 6 ways that psychology can benefit your life. Now obviously, I'm a little bit biased, okay? I've been in the world of psychology for the past 10 years. It's been a really awesome journey. I've learned so much. It's really changed my life, and I fully believe that learning about psychology can and will benefit your life, whether it's deciding to take a psychology class in high school or college, majoring in psychology, or even just watching psychology videos here on YouTube. Learning about psychology, in my opinion, is for everybody, regardless of your beliefs, your career, your perspective on life, your overarching goals. Whatever it is that you want to do, psychology can help you do it better. Okay, and there's a couple of reasons for this that I'm going to get into starting now. I hope you enjoy this video. So first and foremost, regardless of who we are, regardless of our jobs or what it is that we do every day, human beings are inherently social creatures. So being able to understand the people around you is absolutely essential in your day-to-day life. Regardless of your goals, right? We interact with people every single day. So being able to understand why people do the things that they do can be incredibly important, right? Whether you go into psychology as a career or not, having that foundation in understanding the science behind people will help you throughout the rest of your life. So in that way, psychology is hugely beneficial. And even if you don't take a psychology course, I do understand that sometimes people can be really predictable, right? Sometimes it just feels like people do the things that they do and it's really all just common sense. This isn't actually true, but I know a lot of people do feel this way, where people are very predictable and why on earth do we need to learn about psychology when we can just kind of figure out what people are going to do? And the thing is that people are not actually all that predictable. Sometimes they are, and we notice those times, but then other times people are actually very unpredictable. Sometimes people do things and we just think, what the heck? Why would somebody do that? That's so baffling. That's so out of the ordinary. Like if we think about serial killers, or if we think about wartime, where people are doing just really unusual, unfathomable things to each other. Like, these are things that psychology studies so that we can better understand why people do sometimes unusual things. Sometimes people do things that go completely against their values or beliefs. Why is that? Well, psychology can give us some potential answers to those types of questions. So by studying psychology, you learn about people's underlying motivations. So what might convince somebody to want to do something, even if it's maybe not in their best interest or in line with their values or beliefs? You can better understand the reasons for people's behavior. So sometimes just asking somebody might elicit you a response for why they did something. But here's a secret. Sometimes there are reasons that the person doesn't even realize for why they did a behavior. You start to think about people's personality or sort of their patterns of thought, feelings, and behaviors that then influence the various things that they do. You also learn about how past experiences or people's expectations can sort of dictate their behavior over time. And also really fun, if you're very scientifically minded, you'll also learn about how the brain works and how our various physiological underlying mechanisms and all of these things influence our behavior. So you're also going to learn about the neuroscience behind psychology. So there's all these different aspects of people that the average person might not really consider when they're trying to figure out why somebody is doing the things that they do and why people sometimes do things that are just so unpredictable and that seem so strange. But actually there's very good reasons for those things that psychology can help us to explain. So the second way that psychology can help benefit your life is to help you have better relationships. And this kind of goes into the first benefit that I talked about in this video, where psychology can help you better understand people. Psychology can also help you have better relationships because it helps you understand that connection better with another person. So many psychologists actually do study the psychology of relationships, whether it's on more of a research level where they're taking couples and they're basically doing scientific experiments on them, trying to figure out compatibility and things like that. Other psychologists might actually see couples and try to help them work through their marital problems, etc. But many psychologists are interested in relationships and what a healthy relationship looks like, why people stay in relationships, maybe what predicts a longer term, happier, healthier relationship, right? 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. How can we help people find better relationships and basically stick with them for the long term? So psychologists are directly involved in this type of research. So by studying psychology, right, by taking that psychology class, it's going to help benefit your life because you're going to have direct access to that type of information. And the hope is that you'll be able to take that knowledge and then directly apply it to your actual life, so to your actual social relationships. And this is the case not only just for your romantic relationships, but also other types of relationships that you have in your life, whether it's platonic relationships or relationships with family or relationships with coworkers, etc., etc. We have all different types of relationships in our lives that psychology can help benefit you with. So the third way that psychology can help benefit your life is by helping you be a better parent, or basically just understand children better. So there is an entire area of psychology that is basically dedicated to understanding children, how they develop, how they think, how they understand the world, how they are different from adults, basically how a child is going to look psychologically as they develop across their childhood, right? So from basically 0 years of age, even in utero, we can study children, all the way up to where they are 18 years of age. They're technically an adult, right? And you can get them out of the house. So psychologists are just as interested in children as they are in adults. And whether you plan on having kids or not, or whether you already have kids, many of us do have to learn how to interact with kids. Because many of us, happen to be parents, but then we might also happen to be aunts or uncles, or maybe we're the godparent of a child, or maybe we interact with children on a regular basis through our work, or something of that nature. Being able to understand kids is going to be hugely beneficial for many of us in our day-to-day lives because some aspect of our life happens to involve kids. And children do not see the world the same way as adults. So having some kind of insight as to how a child actually sees the world can really help you interact with them at a level that is more appropriate for their age. So for example, if you're interacting with, let's say, a 2-year-old child who has not yet developed this ability to see the world from other people's perspectives, which is called a theory of mind, then understanding that is going to help you be a lot more patient with their world's perspective because it's going to be different from your own, and also speak to them in a way that will help them start to develop that skill cognitively over time. So you're going to be able to teach them more effectively as a parent or as a godparent, aunt, uncle, etc., whatever it might be. You're not putting adult expectations on them, you're putting 2-year-old expectations on them, basically, which is really going to help your relationship with them and then also help them develop over time. Psychology is also going to help you understand what normal development looks like. So you're going to be better able to identify maybe when a child does have some kind of a developmental delay. So you're going to know basically when you need to take them to a doctor, but also what normal development looks like, so when you don't need to worry. You're going to learn about which types of environments and parenting techniques actually help a child develop into a happy, healthy, functioning person, and also which parenting techniques maybe to avoid. You're going to learn about how rewards and punishment work and how that can help you be a better parent or interact with children in a better way. And basically, you're just going to learn all sorts of things about kids that you can readily apply to your day-to-day life, regardless of what your actual job is. Many of us do have to interact with kids regularly, so it definitely helps to have this knowledge. So the fourth big way that psychology is going to help you in your day-to-day life is that it's going to really kind of key you in on taking mental health seriously. Now, it's probably no surprise to anybody out there that a big part of psychology does focus on mental health. And usually it's in the form of mental health disorders. So basically when something in terms of a person's thoughts, feelings, or behaviors isn't quite right. There's something that is disrupting their everyday life, their ability to function in the world, okay? So a lot of psychology does focus on mental health in that way. So basically when things go wrong for a person's mind, but there is also an area of psychology that I've talked about in previous videos called positive psychology, where basically we're looking at all the things that can go right in terms of a person's mental health and how we can sort of bolster that in your average everyday person who doesn't necessarily have a mental health disorder, but still wants to be the best version of themselves. They want to be the happiest, healthiest person that they can be. So psychology is going to help you understand both of these different perspectives. So mental health in terms of the things that can go wrong, but also mental health in terms of the things that can go right. So you're going to be a lot more aware of the various types of mental health disorders that are out there. You're going to be able to better identify them, have more compassion for people who actually experience these disorders. You're going to learn a lot of myths that are out there about mental health, and they're going to be debunked for you. So you're going to have a better understanding of the types of issues that people actually have when it comes to their mental health. But then you're also going to understand the other side of things. And even if you're somebody who is not experiencing a mental health disorder, psychology is going to help you better manage your own mental health and be more aware of the various things in your life that can cause you to be less happy or function at a less optimal level. So you're going to better learn how to manage your stress, what isn't okay in terms of your mental health, warning signs to look out for. Regardless of who you are or your own experiences with mental health, psychology is going to help you be more aware of various mental health problems and then how you can be a happier, healthier, functioning person every single day. So the fifth way that psychology is going to help you in your day-to-day life and benefit your life overall is that it's going to help you improve your memory. Now, once again, regardless of who you are, what your job is, what your goals are, our memories are so important. If we can't remember things that we have to do every day or study things effectively for my students out there, it's not going to do us any good. So our memories are so incredibly important. And some psychologists study what is called cognitive psychology, which is basically the psychology of thinking and how we remember information best. So if you are a student out there, good news, psychology is going to help you learn how to study more effectively for tests, because psychologists actually do study that very topic. And even if you are not a student, everybody can benefit from various learning or memory strategies, basically, that will help you remember things more efficiently. So if you are somebody who just keeps on forgetting where things are, whether you lose your keys or if you just cannot remember where you put things, or you're just super forgetful when it comes to appointments and things like that, then having some memory strategies on your side that have been scientifically studied and shown to work and be effective for people can be hugely helpful. So things like rehearsal, right? Basically repeating things over and over and over again can be a really effective learning strategy. But also maybe writing things down, putting notes for yourselves in places where you can actually see them, and you're going to basically clue yourself in that, hey, I have to remember this thing, whatever it might be. Psychology has a lot of little tips and tricks to help you better remember things. Now, this is very applicable for anybody who has to remember something, so basically everybody, but it's also helpful because it helps you set realistic expectations for your own memory. So if you don't really understand what a person is capable of remembering, then you might set expectations that are just really ridiculous, and you're never going to fulfill those expectations. So by learning about memory, what people are actually capable of knowing and remembering, you're going to set yourself up for success, and it's going to be actual realistic success. Okay, guys, we are almost there. So the last way that I came up with in this video for how psychology can help to benefit your life is that you're going to learn how to think more scientifically, which is awesome for everybody because science is so much a part of our culture that it's really important for everybody, regardless of who you are, to be able to understand the scientific process, because there's a lot of myths out there, okay? And also be able to digest science in a more accurate way. So I see it all the time where people come out of high school and they still basically have no idea what science really is. They have a lot of preconceived notions, they know a lot of myths, they don't really understand what scientists actually do, and that's a problem because when it comes to trying to understand science that you read, right, whether it's from the media or you're actually going to a scientific research article, if you have no idea what you're looking at or how people actually come to their scientific conclusions, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage when it comes to trying to understand the world from a scientific perspective. And the fact of the matter is that you should not have to rely on the media to help you consume your science. The media misconstrues things all the time, guys, okay? They will take a scientific research article and they will tell you things about it that simply are not true. So it really helps to be able to actually go to the source, right, the actual article, and kind of read it for yourself. And yes, sometimes scientific articles can be really dense, they can be really difficult to read, but having some understanding for it really does go such a long way. And then you don't have to rely on the journalist, you know, the person who's not a scientist to tell you what something means. You can form your own conclusions by going to the source. And psychology is going to help you do this because when you learn about psychology, you're going to be learning about something from a scientific perspective. And if you take a psychology course, any psychology course at all, it doesn't matter, even if it's just introduction to psychology, you're going to be exposed to some kind of a scientific research article as part of that course, and you're going to have to learn how to dissect it. And you're going to learn some tips and tricks for basically being able to read those articles more effectively. You're also going to learn about things like statistics, hypothesis testing, basically the whole scientific procedure, right? Putting together a study, etc., etc., if you do end up learning about psychology more in depth. And this is going to help you basically be a more analytical person, not just in terms of that specific subject, but in your day-to-day life. You're going to be better at breaking down evidence, critically evaluating it, basically being able to weigh what is important and what isn't. What do I want to believe, and maybe what isn't such good evidence? Maybe I shouldn't trust this source, but this other source is really credible, things like that. And really importantly, you're going to learn to be more comfortable with the abstract, because the abstract is basically what scientists deal with on a day-to-day basis. Spoiler alert, the truth is always very uncertain in science. We may come out with these claims, oh, scientists have discovered X, Y, or Z, and this is the way things are. But the truth of the matter is that the way things are can change when better science comes out to disprove it. That's just the way things work. So you're going to learn to become much more comfortable with that notion of that nothing is actually set in stone when it comes to our understanding of the world. We can always understand it more accurately. So you're going to be better able to handle when new evidence comes in to knock out the old evidence, and you're going to be able to update your beliefs more readily when better evidence comes in to refute them. And this is so, so important for your day-to-day life when it comes to being a well-informed person. So I hope you enjoyed my 6 ways that psychology can benefit you in your day-to-day life. I have written a blog post on this subject, which I'll go ahead and link down below. It includes a couple of other ways that psychology can benefit your life that I did not talk about here. So if you want to know all the ways that I came up with, definitely check that out. Go ahead and comment down below how you see psychology benefiting your life, or basically your favorite way that I came up with, or maybe a way that you came up with all on your own that I have not thought about. I would love to hear it. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It does help support my channel. It lets me know I'm doing a good job, and basically my videos will get shared to more people so I can keep growing. Also, ding that notification bell if you would like to be alerted as to when I upload videos. And also subscribe for more psychology-related content if you would like to learn more from me and about psychology more in general. We're going to be doing lots of fun things on this channel, and I am so excited about it. So that is everything that I have for you today. Thank you again for stopping by, and I will see you next time.